restaurant's 97-year-old man ate alone every day. One day, the staff realized something. For almost 3 years, Arby's had one regular customer who ate there every day. There wasn't a single day when Doug Parker hadn't walked inside the local Arby's in Chandler, Arizona. Doug Parker was a 97-year-old Army veteran. He either ate at the place or stopped by to pick up his lunch every single day. He was known as Mr. Doug in the neighborhood. Mr. Doug always ordered a roast beef slider with Swiss cheese and a senior drink, Coke, with no ice. Every single day, the staff and the manager at Arby's noticed him walk in and order the same meal for lunch. He ate alone in silence every day. His order was memorized by all staff members in the restaurant. The manager, Christina, began to wonder, why was he always alone? She became curious about her elderly customer and decided to find out. In fact, every employee at this Arby's wanted to know more about this patron. Day after day, the 97-year-old waltzed in all by himself, ordered his meal, and took the same regular seat. As he always clambered inside with the support of his walker, as soon as the staff would spot him, they would hold open the doors for him. One day, Christina was determined to find out the truth. It was lunchtime and Mr. Doug walked in like he always did. This time, the staff just had to know why he was always alone and why he ordered the same meal. But he didn't reveal anything and it seemed like he was a very private person. The staff believed that eventually, the man would open up. Being a WW2 veteran, Doug didn't even have a family and was all alone. The folks at Arby's soon started coming up with their own theories and rumors about Mr. Doug. Finally, Christina again mustered up the courage to walk up to him and pose the curious question. "Hi Mr. Doug, we wanted to know, what keeps you coming back to our restaurant?" Mr. Doug looked up and this time, he smiled and simply replied, "This is the only place I can get a sandwich that doesn't hurt my stomach." It turned out that the old veteran was dealing with several health issues, including a very sensitive stomach. He came to their restaurant because it was the only place where he could eat without it affecting his health. The entire staff was moved by this revelation. Over the years, Doug had become a family to them. He preferred his meal at Arby's so much that he never ever considered looking for alternatives. In fact, even Doug considered the friendly staff his family. It was because he felt welcome at the restaurant. In fact, Christina always looked personally into Mr. Doug's meals. Whenever there was a new employee, she always made sure to brief them about his regular order. After Doug disclosed his plight, the staff at the restaurant decided to be extra careful with his meals and dietary requirements. For them, he was a hero. The lonely Mr. Doug lived in a retirement home and only ventured out for his daily meal at the restaurant that had become his second home. What they did next came as a surprise to everyone. The next day, a customer saw a waiter slipping something into Mr. Doug's usual bag of meal. Mr. Doug sat at his old table, waiting for his order. The waiter walked up to him and gave him the bag with a joyful smile. As Mr. Doug checked his order, the waiter stood back in curiosity. He began to eat his slider in silence but realized he had many eyes on him and the bag. He then slowly looked inside the bag his order had come in. Then, the old man noticed a small red card inside. He pulled out the card and the expression on his face changed. He realized what the staff at Arby's had done. They had decided to chip in their spare cash and give him a $200 gift card. Initially, he thought it was a joke. But then, he couldn't contain his happiness with this small act of generosity and affection that the staff had shown him. Slowly, the man said with a slight laugh, "Thank you. I never know if I'll be here the next day. But thank you so much for this." A few of the staff members then gave him their phone number. They promised him that they would bring his usual order to the retirement home if he wasn't able to make it to the restaurant. This story was so moving that it was shared on national media. Following this, the staff decided to do something more. They offered Mr. Doug unlimited free food for the rest of his life. After hearing the wholesome news, a local doctor even stopped by the restaurant to offer him a free eye checkup and glasses. Mr. Doug felt extremely grateful for this sweet gesture from his favorite restaurant. Mr. Doug, who had felt largely forgotten over time, finally found a family that loved him dearly.